Hi, welcome. My name is Dale Makowski, and on this video, I'd like to take a few minutes to discuss the issue of other people within the home environment and beyond, even other situations and other dogs. How the relational dynamics at work really play a critical role when it comes to how a dog connects to other people, dogs, and situations, and why it's so important for whoever spends the most time with the dog. Why it's so important for that person to become truly the pivot point when it comes to fulfilling the leadership role of the dog. And this is why when you see people who have established that role and defined it, within the script of leadership, how that really creates balance everywhere else, so that other people coming into the home or other members of the family, how they can they can indeed put a lot of emotion onto the dog and really interact in a way that isn't going to create a problem, because the script being followed is what really transforms how that dog relates to people, comes through being within that follower script itself. So basically what's happening is it's a conditional state. Everything's coming through that, whoever that dog owner is who's fulfilling that role rightly, everything is coming through that script properly. An example I would use would be when I had my police dog, Reuben, many years ago, and take him into the schools where I'd have 200-300 children all wanting to pet on him, and coming into the right relationship with Reuben and coming into harmony at the relational level in such a way that all the kids petting on him didn't become a source of empowerment in a way where it would create a problem, basically. So there's a moment which provides a pretty good context where I was in the classroom and we just got done doing a drug demo for the kids as part of a drug education program, and so I'd use that opportunity to help to kind of promote this connect and create, talk about what is learning represent. Well, establishing a marker or a positive influence, but reconciled rightly. Okay, so basically, after achieving a high level of harmony relationally, then the children interacting becomes a different context, different fulfillment that way within the context of the relationship. So basically, after Reuben found the drugs, I would say, okay, kids can pet the dog, you can pet him now, and I wouldn't even he wasn't even on the leash. I mean, the kids were over. At one point, there was like 30 kids all surrounding Reuben and patting and going on, and there was a moment that kind of a break in the clouds where there was an opening for a moment amongst all the kids surrounding him and petting him. And Reuben was looking directly right at me. And so he was connected to me. So even though he was away from me and standing over, 15 feet away from me, because I fulfilled that role rightly, all those kids, they're all coming through me. Okay, it was within the follower script. So he was accepting all that attention and petting and all that in a calm way. I mean, it was different. It was a different context. So the whole issue of when something becomes a problem or when it becomes a power source for the dog is defined within the context of the relationship itself, within the context of the roles themselves, as whether or not the person is fulfilling that role rightly, whether or not they're coming into right relationship through leadership. So, when that tipping point hits, I mean, that's the thing, is that kind of fork in the road, starts to cut away, and that person starts to become weak, perceived as weak to the dog. see, what happens is it contaminates everything. It contaminates all interactions, and so what happens is then other people in the household, they become a problem within the context of how the dog's connecting to them. That's why you see other kids in the home, and they're interacting. Dogs having problems with the kids, they're having problems with the dog doesn't want to go near the other spouse. Because it starts because the whole thing is the script has changed. So, but again, when you fulfill that person, whoever has the most contact and interaction with that dog is going to have the greatest influence on the path the relationship takes. So when that person meets a high, the more that person fulfills that role at a high level, the more it overrides everything else. In fact, that's where you'll get the dog staying within the proper script when other people are coming into the home. The dog isn't jumping on people. The dog is, because the dog is interacting and connecting within that follower script. So again, just something to consider when people are trying to interpret and figure out, how these dynamics, work. It comes right back to that owner. It does. The focus has to shift right onto that owner to make sure they're establishing, the proper role, that they're coming into right relationship, that they're fulfilling that leadership role of that dog. They have that type of influence, which is going to ripple out to everything else. Okay, so again, I show that once that tipping point's hit, and the dog's gaining power. That's why I show. That's why training is a intervention. Okay, you have to start to redefine it. You have to bring that dog owner into right relationship. You have to get them to think different, interact different, connect different. Okay, and so look at my relational model. That's what it's designed to do. Okay, the building blocks of change comes through the model itself. Now, through what I define it as follower moments. It's relational influence. So it's all about changing up the foundation stones of the relationship. So again, just encourage you to think about that as you're trying to interpret what's going on in the relationship, as to why the dog's reacting this way or that way to this person or that person or the other dog or the situation. Or you can't go into the dog park, and all these things are all, because everything just branches off that. And so everything becomes contaminated as a result. You won't be able to gain clarity on anything, because again, and then physical response doesn't line up, because nature doesn't fully reveal itself that way just from the surface of things. So you could be thinking the dog's getting along in a situation with other dogs, and actually the dog's actually being empowered, because you're not going to get that type of friction that way, because again, nature's deeper than that. So again, this system provides clarity. It provides a clear path to helping people. I would encourage you to check out my website. It's got lots of great training options to help you get started on the right path. So thanks very much for watching.